You are watching a Plus recap in the Middle East. Fred is doing some work for an oil company. He hears some noises and turns around to discover two vehicles in the middle of a chase with open fire. It turns out NGO workers Clara and Jabril are escaping from bandits. When their vehicle gets stuck on the road, Fred gets in his car and tells his girlfriend to give up, but Clara refuses because she has important vaccines to deliver. Then Fred uses his car to push hers. That way, they can get moving again. The chase continues for a few miles until Fred and Clara's car manages to reach the refugee camp. The guards open fire and the bandits shoot back, damaging a pipe in the process. When more guards come out on horseback, the bandits leave. Now that they're safe, Fred and Clara get naughty. After they're done, they discuss what happened and Fred asks Clara to stop doing these runs. However, Clara reminds him she grew up here and refuses to stop helping people. 9 months ago, the political unrest got worse and riots took over most cities, causing the president to leave the country and putting an end to the government. Fred and his brother Alex agreed to escape to Paris. But Fred had one last job to finish before leaving. Alex stole all the explosives from the demolition company he worked at while Fred tried to drive through the city, which was hard because of the riots. A Molotov bomb fell on his car, and he had to put it out with Anne's extinguisher. Then he punched some men to steal a new car. Minutes later, Fred was entering the residence of the rich man he was supposed to escort out of the country before the authorities could catch him. The man paid him in advance, but Fred couldn't help noticing his client had several bags of cash and could have paid him better. The moment was interrupted by the arrival of Anne, the oil company representative. While Anne and the client talked, Fred went outside to wait with the other bodyguards, but there was nothing they could do when the police arrived to search the place. The rich man tried to bribe the captain, but he got shot instead and then ran to hide. Hearing the gunshot, Fred and the other guards started to fight the officers outside, quickly beating them up and finishing them with bullets. Then Fred went inside, and when the captain was about to shoot him, another guard killed him first. While another guard beat an officer up in the pool. Fred and his partner moved through the house and shot a cop to rescue Anne. After dropping her at the airport, Fred visited Alex, saying they could use the explosives to break open the client's safe. Alex at first refused because he thought it might put his family in danger, but Fred assured him there was no risk. In the present, Alex's wife, Alla, and his daughter are living in the same camp as Fred. Alla thinks the bandits approached the camp because they're after Fred in a shady business, but Fred reminds her he's working to earn enough money to get her out of the country with her daughter. However, Alla refuses to leave without Alex, who is now in prison. She reminds Fred that he put her family in danger by killing cops. Suddenly, the gas leak from the shootout causes an explosion in the oil field near the camp. The flames reach high into the sky, spreading black smoke in the area. Meanwhile, in prison, Alex is forced to fight other inmates for the guards who make money on bets. After a quick victory today, his next opponent is a huge man. However, Alex isn't intimidated and brings the guy down by head-butting him before beating his face up. Then an officer pays Alex for the fight, although it's less than what others make because they know Alex has killed cops. The officer threatens to hit Alex for his attitude, but Alex easily knocks him down and throws the money so the other prisoners can grab it. Chaos ensues and Alex gets to beat up the cops that keep coming after him. Things stop when the guards open fire and Alex is taken to an isolated cell. That night, a guard tells Alex that because of what he did earlier, he owes them 10 more fights. Alex doesn't want to fight. However, the cop explains he's only alive because he's useful. If he stops fighting, he'll lose protection. Alex cries and yells in frustration as he remembers the night of the robbery. When the brothers arrived at the mansion, Alex was shocked to see all the bodies and scolded Fred, saying he wouldn't have come if he'd known about the dead cops. While Alex installed the explosives on the safe, Fred kept guard outside. Unfortunately, a team of soldiers arrived and found Alex red-handed. At that moment, the explosives went off and killed several men. Alex was arrested while Fred watched from the shadows. Back to the present, the fire is still burning on the gas leak the next morning and is paid very well to take care of the issue and given 24 hours. The gas leakage could lead to the destruction of the camp that was built over the second gas pocket. So, she has to work fast. A helicopter takes her to the camp and she shares her plan with Fred. They want to blow up 100 kilos of nitroglycerin to stop it. The NGO has already agreed to help. So, now Anne wants Fred to drive the nitroglycerin. She also offers to take Alex out of jail so he can be in charge of the explosives and her team would handle security. If things go well, she'll pay $1 million and help the whole family leave the country. Alla asks Fred to do whatever and wants to save Alex. So, Fred makes her leave the room to have a more serious conversation. He learns that expert drillers will be coming too, and Clara and Jabril will be his guides because they know the area well. In prison, Alex is given clean clothes and picked up by Anne's men. Fred and the rest of the team are being flown in a helicopter to the spot where they're keeping the convoy and learn that they can't fly with the nitro because it's very unstable. This means they'll have to cross a checkpoint. So, they'll pretend to be a humanitarian convoy. Jabril wonders why they haven't evacuated the refugee camp. So, Anne's employee, Godier, explains that moving 5,000 people without getting the attention of bandits is impossible. Suddenly, a rocket flies near the helicopter and explodes to fill the air with toxic gas. The team quickly puts on masks while the pilot keeps pulling fast moves to dodge more rockets. Luckily, they manage to fly out of range without getting any damage. In the evening, they arrive at a warehouse where the brothers reunite. A furious Alex immediately punches Fred, who grabs him and forces him to calm down for the sake of the mission. Since Alex is still fuming, Clara tells him to think about his family and assures them that they're fine. Then Godier shows them a sample of nitro. Since it's old, Alex tests it by throwing a drop on the ground, which is grab him from still enough to create a decent flame. He thinks a large amount of such dangerous substance should be transported in 2 trucks and not just one. So, the brothers agree that each of them will drive a vehicle. While Clara and Jabril go to their organization to get passes for everyone. Alex tells Fred to get some extra crates for the nitro. Fred wants to talk, but Alex refuses to hear him out. Once everyone is ready with weapons, bulletproof vests, and radios, they finally leave. Moments later, they make it to the checkpoint, and everyone makes sure to put the NGO logo on their vests. Clara shows the IDs to the soldiers, who are annoyed because supply runs are supposed to be notified in advance. Luckily, she convinces them it's an emergency and they're allowed to pass. The next day, they make it to the company's solar plant, and Godier makes Clara stay in the car while the brothers handle the nitro. As they move around the plant, they notice a guard tied up with tape. The nitro is in small canisters that the brothers carefully load into the crates. They only grab the amount they need, so one canister is left behind. After the brothers leave in the trucks, the captured man breaks the tape and starts fighting a guard. In the struggle, they accidentally knock over the last nitro canister and cause a big explosion. Thankfully, it doesn't cover the whole plant and the convoy is already on their way out, so they aren't harmed. Later, Godier notices that Clara has been in a bad mood since they left and confronts her. So, she stops the car. She thinks Godier is heartless and doesn't care about casualties, so she leaves the car and joins Fred in the truck. A few miles ahead, they find an army roadblock, which shouldn't be possible because this isn't a military zone. When they stop the vehicles, they see people surrounding the road and realize these are bandits pretending to be military. Godier tells the commander that they're carrying medical supplies and hands him the papers, but he refuses to pay a bribe. When he doesn't let them inspect the trucks either, the men fire their guns in the air. A frustrated Jabril comes out of the car with the organization logo and his hands up, swearing they're only here to help. The commander approaches him with his gun out, only for Alex to behind and threaten him with a grenade. The other men begin approaching too, so Godier also takes out his gun. After exchanging a few tense words, Godyar shoots a bandit and Fred does too from the truck window. The enemy opens fire and Jabril is sadly shot down. A full gunfight ensues and one of the convoy guards runs over the commander with his bike. Alex throws the grenade at a few soldiers while Fred, Godyar, and the other guards return the fire. Clara runs to check on Jabril and wants to bring his body along, so Fred has to drag her back to the truck. Now that they've killed all the bandits, they can finally leave. They don't realize that the commander is still alive until it's too late. He's brought a few more bandits and starts following the convoy on the road with open fire. Godyar shoots back but has to recharge and the biker guard has to drive carefully to dodge bullets. A shot hits the top of a truck going too close to the nitro. Alex starts speeding up to try to lose them and the biker ends up falling off the road. With newly loaded gun, Godyar manages to make more accurate shots and kills the commander plus his bandits, sending their vehicles off the road, too. The convoy stops on a dirt road and Godyar approaches the enemy vehicles to shoot them more just in case. The brothers use this break to tie the nitro extra hard since driving this fast is making them shake. A furious Clara tries to hit Godyar because she blames him for Jabril's death since he refused to pay and Fred has to drag her away. Since they've lost so much time and they only have 8 hours left, Godyar announces they'll change routes and take the north road instead. Meanwhile, at the camp, the locals are worried because the flame is getting bigger. Sometime later, the convoy makes it to the north road. When the ground under the guard on an ATV suddenly explodes, the group is horrified to realize they've entered a minefield. Even though it's time-consuming, they have no choice but to inspect the road using chains to remove the mines. Alex wants to work alone, but Fred insists on helping. Little by little, the brothers check every inch of the road, and whenever they uncover mine, they carefully remove it and leave it on the field. Eventually, Fred ends up stepping on mine, and Alex can't defuse it. Fred apologizes for everything, but Alex refuses to leave him to die and offers his hands. They count to 3 and Alex pulls Fred off the mine, but nothing happens. Overwhelmed by relief, the brothers laugh. At that moment, a sniper opens fire from the bushes. The team gets into position and fires back until they manage to kill the shooter. Unfortunately, during the encounter, one of the guards steps on an active mine and dies. Afterward, Godyar realizes a bullet grazed his arm and washes the wound. Clara offers her condolences for the lost man, but Godyar still thinks of this as just a job and stays cold. There are 2 roads ahead that converge 30 miles from the village, so they agree to split the convoy to have more chances of making it. Before leaving, Clara kisses Fred deeply. Moments later, Clara and Alex are blocked by a bunch of rocks. Alex drills into the rocks and takes a small sample of nitro that he inserts into the holes. Then, he makes it explode from a safe distance to successfully open the way. At the same time, Fred and Godyar find the road blocked by an oil pond created by the locals. Fred tests how deep the pond is and concludes it isn't enough to stop the truck. He starts driving through the oil and the wheels have some trouble moving, but eventually they go through and make it to the other side. Suddenly, Godyar points his gun at Fred. He thinks that since the hard part is done, he can finish the trip himself and get Fred's part of the money, too. With a quick shot, he makes Fred fall from the truck and continues driving alone. Back at the camp, the Allah notices how the flames are starting to break a tower. With only 2 hours left, Clara and Alex also make it to the oil pond and see the wheel marks left by the other truck, so they know they can cross. Alex acts as a guide and Clara drives ahead. Meanwhile, on the mountain, Godyar drives too smugly and since he doesn't know the terrain as well as Fred, the truck ends up falling over the edge. The nitro immediately explodes and kills him. Alex and Clara see the explosion and think Fred also died. At that moment, a local appears, asking for their help and the duo rushes to find Fred's unconscious body. The local old man shares what Goodyear did, because he saw everything from his hiding spot. Clara and Alex immediately take him to the truck, and the trip continues at the camp and calls her company to ask about the drilling team, which hasn't shown up yet. Her boss tells her that their chopper got shot down and there's no time to send another team yet. If things go wrong, the company will hold them responsible. After hanging up, and tells her guard to kidnap Ala and her daughter with only 1 hour left, Alex is frustrated to see a bandit car following him. Clara strangely decides to open the door and start climbing to the roof of the truck, causing the bandits to open fire. With some effort, Clara manages to get in the back of the truck and starts throwing nitro canisters at the enemy until their vehicle finally explodes and rolls off the road. Soon, they make it to the camp, where the flame has grown quite a lot. The guard points his gun at Alcoa while explains that since there's no drilling team, the only way to save the refugees is to drive the truck into the well. Hearing this, Fred opens fire from the truck, quickly killing both Anne and her guard. Fred cries as he watches his brother reunite with his family. However, the flames start getting aggressive, so he starts the truck. Guessing what he's going to do, Clara tries to stop him, but Fred just smiles and drives ahead. The truck crashes into the oil field and a huge explosion blows it all up, killing Fred while stopping the danger from reaching the refugee camp just in time. The locals celebrate, while a helicopter arrives to pick up Clara, Alex, and his family. Make sure to